Hey there everyone, it's time for a completed pages video. I know a lot of you enjoy these and I'm a little late getting mine out because I kind of forgot it was already the end of the month, so oops. So let's just dive in. The first of my completed pages is this countdown calendar from Yana Prosperina. These are in her Etsy store and she has one for every day of the month and they're just fun to tackle. And I've been doing these for a while, but I've never actually finished a full calendar. I'll end up missing a few days and be like, oh, never mind. So I tried something new this month where I leave it on my work desk and just in between tasks, or if I have a little, 5-minute break, I just use my markers and I color it. So I did the whole thing with my Spectrum Noir tri-blends, and I think that's what I'm going to keep at my work desk. Because they take up like this much space, the whole set I have. So I can just grab them and they don't clutter up my whole space. And yeah, you can see I started off the month really like adding stickles and accents, and by the end of the month I was just like, well, whatever. But except this guy, he has a little glitter gel pen. There we go. But yeah, that's about all I did there for that one. Okay, now I have a couple whips. This one I'm still working on. This is from the Coco Wyo Halloween book. I had started this on a live stream with the Spectrum Noir tri-blends, and I was playing around with the newest set because there's 2 sets. And the giveaway for that has closed, so I'll be announcing the winner for that one set of Spectrum Noir tri-blends. But yeah, I just have to finish this up, and I've been working on her hair and I'm kind of debating what I want to do with her outfit and the rest of the candies, but it's been a lot of fun. I did scan and print this on my hammer mill paper, which is my favorite for markers because it acts just like Express It. All right. Oh, and this month was N is for September, so I was trying to use N mediums, but that didn't go very well. Okay. So I have some whips in here, and literally all I need to do is the background of these. So I'm going to try and like sit down and work on these later today. But this is Autumn Coloring Book by Yana Prosperina. Okay, so I have this one here. This is done with Prismacolor. Normally when I'm working in Create Space paper directly, I just grab my Prismas and I usually use my Lyra Splendor Blender or the Prisma Blender and just kind of blend it out because I'm not going to sit here and layer for years. But yeah, this one I just need to do the background, and I was going to use a marker base, I think. And then I was going to use Distress inks to kind of make the moon stand out, but I hadn't really finalized that one. I have another one in here. Okay, and then I have this fairy gal too. This was really fun. I did a limited color palette. As you can see, brown, green, and purple. So all I have to do here is the background as well, and I was going to make these sparkly. So I was going to color them in with a marker base and then just put some sparkles over them, and I didn't get to it. A lot of these I colored like in bed, and I was just too lazy to get up and walk all the way up to my art studio. But yeah, same thing, Prismacolor and a Splendor Blender, and no marker base on this or the last one. Just straight pencil, but I love the wings. I did something different this time rather than the whole translucent, fairy style wings. I decided to do something a little more bold, I guess. But yeah, I think that's it, because this is normally the style I do of wings. And so I was like, let's do something fun. I mean, not all wings are translucent, right? So I'll put that in my whip pile. Then I have another whip. Because yeah, I didn't get the background done. This was also colored with Prismacolor, and all I had to do was I was going to take my Distress inks or Gelato, something simple and something translucent, so that all this beautiful grayscale work still showed up. And then I was going to outline all the butterflies in white, and that was literally all I had left. This was also one where I did a random Sarah Renee Clark palette. I literally just opened the app on my phone, spun it, and wherever it landed, that was the palette, and it was actually a really pretty palette, so I was like, oh, sweet. And this is from one of Molly Harrison's PDF books. Can't remember which one, but I had printed it out on my Nina 110-pound cardstock. She has very dark grayscale, but as you can see, if you use a more opaque pencil, it's going to cover up the grayscale and still pop. I mean, this was, like I said, was a dark grayscale, but look, all this color. So never be intimidated by those super dark grayscales. Just know the better pencils to use, and that's ones that are more opaque, or just be prepared to layer like crazy. But my favorite is like Prisma and those more opaque brands. Now this one was sitting in my finished pile, but I can't recall doing this in September. I swear this was an August page. It's called The Chief's Daughter, and it's from Mariola Budek, but I believe, is the hair done with Koh-i-Noor? It might be. That might be why it's in the pile. I'm not really sure, but I know the skin's Prismacolor and all the other bits and bobs. But yeah, I can't remember, and it was in my pile of completed, and I was like, I swear I did this like in August. So I don't know. And I was naughty this month and didn't write down a lot of color combos. Okay. Last whip is Tenderful Enchantments by Klara Markova. And excuse me, this page here, I had started it with the Koh-i-Noor pencils, which, by the way, I absolutely hate using on this paper. And I think that's why I kind of just stopped this page, because I was just getting flustered. Yeah, they were rough to use on this paper, especially the initial layer. And then once you got the second layer, they were okay, but they're just too dry. And I like to use, you know, my Brute Fooner squares work really great in here. The Brute Fooners that are like the 520 Brute Fooners. Polychromos work good in here too. And they're a harder oil-based pencil, but they're not as dry as these Koh-i-Noors. So they work well in here. But yeah, the Koh-i-Noors, I was just getting flustered. So I might finish this with like polys or a pencil I prefer, because I'm definitely not going back in there. Okay, then in my Enchanted Faces, this is that pocket-sized book from Hannah Lynn. I did quite a bit. It's kind of a hot mess at the moment. A lot of my Create Space books, I end up pulling them apart later so that they're all just free, loose pages. And I just made a video on how to do that, because anytime I bring that up in a completed pages video, I'm asked how I did it. So I finally remembered and I made a video. That one I was going to do and didn't get to. This is one of my 10 books to finish, by the way, so I have done quite a bit. Like the ones that are left, I'm just kind of, I don't know. I really like the ones where there's just like loads of hair filling up the image, as you can tell. But yeah, the ones I left up front are ones, this one's a whip from a while ago. I just haven't finished, and it's using a hair color I obviously really enjoy using on Hannah Lynn pages. So yeah, these are the ones I completed this month, and I did a lot because these are just so easy to belt out and, I don't know, relaxing. Honestly, I'm starting to use like these little mini Hannah Lynn books as like my palette cleanser instead of mandalas. Now these are all Prismacolor. The only marker is the background on these. I do have one in progress downstairs that I started for October, and that one I'm trying a marker base. I don't normally do marker base. Okay, so I have this one done. Yeah, I just use marker to fill in the background and then some white gel pen. I believe all of them have a little bit of sparklies, but not a lot. Like I put some sparkle on the candle, and then I put some on her lips. But yeah, just Prisma, and my favorite Prisma hair color. I love coloring Hannah Lynn hair. It's just so bouncy. Okay, and then I finished, move this pile off to the side. I finished this one as well. This was also one where I just took a Sarah Renee Clark palette, just by flinging through and doing it randomly. And then I just marker like on the back and covered the bubbles with white. And she does have some sparkly like on the heart here. I just used the clear Spectrum Noir glitter pen, so it's not as bold as like Stickles, but I like the way that one turned out. And it was, you know, limited colors, so that was nice too. Okay, I also completed this gal. I did also use a Sarah Renee Clark random palette for this one. And I was doing that so I quit doing the same hair color I always do. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll use blue out of that palette for the hair. And I like the way it turned out. And I think I did, yeah, just marker on the background. I was going to outline the clouds in white and I forgot, but oh well. This rope is colored in, but it's like I used a light beige, so it's not showing as well as I thought it would. So I may go back and change that, but either way, it turned out pretty cute. And then we have this one here. I went in and added, this was actually a whip for a little bit, but I don't know if I ever showed it to you guys, but I finished it this month. Most of the hair was done, and I had already put my Prismas away, but as you can see, I already knew what the color was. I have two variations that I tend to use a lot, but it's between these two, although I changed it up a tiny bit, and I actually added some red. That's why this has a little bit more of a reddish hue. And I did share this color combo in my Discord if you want to check that out. And then I added that Spectrum Noir to her tail and, oh, a little to the fishy up here. But yeah, again, all just Prisma and a blender pencil. And then the last one was this one here. I couldn't do my normal purple hair. I just was like, oh, that won't look right. So I just did a little brown combo, and very simple like coloring is what I do with these Hannah Lynn pages. Like I don't do my usual flick there, you know, type of hair. I have a different method, but I do have a video on how I do the Hannah Lynn hair if you want to see that. But yeah, this one was a fun one, and all the butterflies have the Spectrum Noir glitter. And I just keep it simple, because if these become complicated, then they're just going to be something I avoid. Excuse me. All right, let me add that back to my pile. Then this has to go back downstairs because I'm working on it. Okay, but last but not least, I did finish a portrait today. Not today, this last month as well. This is the Free Spirit Grayscale by Christine Caron. Oh, I know everything is Prisma. I can't remember if I used Koh-i-Noor on the hair or if I used Prisma on the hair. No, those are Koh-i-Noors. They're not Prismas. Sorry, I was looking for the wax. So this was Koh-i-Noor on the hair, and then everything else was done in Prisma. And I liked the way this one turned out. You know, she looks like a free spirit. And I wanted to keep a pretty limited palette. However, I didn't want her dress to be exactly the same color as her little head wrap here. So I went for a different green combo, and then I wasn't really enjoying it, so I had to go back and like try to get more of this chartreuse color in there. But by then there was just yeah, nothing I could do, so it was kind of stuck that way. And then the little jewels, I just blended them out with my white Prisma, and then that gives them kind of like the appearance of being a gemstone to me. And then I used my gold, antique gold color combo that I think I shared in my community tab once, because I did it on a steampunk girl. But yeah, I do love the way this turned out. And I'm honestly surprised that I only did the one portrait. I mean, I have that other one, but like I said, I don't recall doing that this month. But yeah, I normally have like, you know, portraits galore. I did spend a lot of time on the one in here, so that didn't help. And I did spend a lot of time on the ones in the Create Space paper for Yana Prosperina. And then these are fast. I can belt like one of these out in an hour. So these weren't very time consuming. But I didn't have a lot of coloring time this month. But I did finish up 2 diamond paintings. Oh, so I was going to grab those real fast so you could see those as well. If you're not interested in diamond painting, then you can call the video done. But if you are, 1 second. Okay, so one of the ones I finished in September was this one. This was from Diamond Art Club. It's a square drill canvas. It's called Fall Time by Graham Gherkin, and it's a 20.9 by 16.5, so not like a super large canvas, but yeah, it took me a while. Square always takes me longer because I just can't handle it if they're not even. There's no ABs in this one, but it still has all the facets on the squares that make them sparkly looking. But yeah, this one was I would say fun-ish. I don't really call it a fall time. I don't know. It doesn't scream fall to me. It screams more spring. I know it's got like red up here, but yeah. But either way, like I remember I got that one like super cheap, so on discount or clearance or something. And it was still a good little fun way to practice my square placing. Okay, and then I did finish the, what's her name again? Moon Elf. Gosh, wow, I'm surprised I forgot that. So I had started this on a stream, and I even gave one away. And this one was just such a pretty one. And I knew the second I started it that it was going to look really pretty. So I finally finished this one. Now this does have some ABs, only 43 colors. The canvas is pretty average, 18 by 27, so it's pretty average for Diamond Art Club. Even the round drills have some sparkle to them, as you can see. And then like the ABs, I like the way they placed them in this one. So there's some in the earring, some right here highlighting her lips. We got a couple here highlighting her nose, some highlighting there. We got a few up in her little headpiece, some in the flowers. So like they placed them pretty nicely, I would say. And then even here, this is ABs before it mixes into the other white. Got some ABs around that flower. Look up here. So yeah, this one was fun. And this was, because the last Diamond Art Club one I did with a face, the rendering was awful. I was actually impressed by the rendering with this one. So, like, her face actually looks normal. I mean, for being a purple face and all. Whereas the last one I did, it just looked really wacky. And one thing you got to remember with diamond art is up close, it looks kind of weird. I mean, you know. But once it's far away and you look at it from afar, that's when you're like, oh, okay, I see it. But yeah, up close, sometimes you're like, oh, this face looks awful. And then you stand back and you're like, wow, that's beautiful. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're new to diamond painting, or if you're doing cross stitch too. They look pretty hideous until you step away. But my daughter wants this one hung up in her room. For now, it's sitting in my portfolio. I have big canvas, like 24 by 36, or it holds 24 by 36 size canvas bag. I'm going to start getting more sturdy portfolios to hold these in. But yeah, I'm storing it there for now till she can get this in her room. The only thing I didn't like about this one was these are gold, or supposed to be gold, like in the original artwork. And I feel it would have been better if they used, like, it just doesn't look gold, the brown here. It just looks funky. So that was like the only thing I'm like, what is this? But I'll do a post review on this as well as the other one later on. So yeah, I guess I didn't complete a ton this month outside of like the one here from Christine Caron and Hannah Carlson, and then of course my countdown calendar. So hopefully my October completed pages is a lot more interesting. I have a few buddy colors I'm going to do. I also have 3 hashtags going. Now we have O is for October. That lined up perfectly because that's the next letter of our alphabet challenge, although the letter O there's not a lot of supplies. I have my Odyssey palette from Prima sitting on my desk to remind me to use it. And then my Ohuhus. Yeah, it's kind of, I put a list in my community tab for those of you who might be going, what the heck would I use for O? And then I have the random color palette challenge where basically you just do what I did for a few of these this month. Scroll at random, and that's your palette. I'm not going to use that all month, of course. There's some pictures. I'll even give you a really quick sneak peek of one I finished, but that's for October. I did not use the random color palette because I had a vision the second I saw that picture. And then I also have only orange in October. You can follow all of these on my Instagram, and I did put them in my community tab, but that is coloring a page with only orange. And I'm going to do that each month, I think, because it would be fun to find a color that matches with the month's name and just make it a little challenge. And you don't have to do every page in orange, but I'm going to try and find one. I might even just color a mandala. It's whatever's screaming to me at the moment. Okay, so thank you for watching my completed pages and pile of whips. And until next time, take care. Bye now.